1 point. The questions are not transferable to other teams. Okay. There will be audience round also. Round 1 is English, and here in each of the following questions, you have to choose the alternative which will best express the meaning of the word. Okay. And the first question is for survey house. The word is gracious, and the options are A, pretty, B, clever, C, cordial, and D, present. And your answer is
Pretty. Option
pretty. I'm sorry to say wrong answer.
cordial.
C, cordial. Bingo. So you fetch 3 points. Okay. Audience, please maintain the silence. Second question is for Shastri House, and the word for you is sacrosanct. And the options are A, prayer, B, sanctuary, C, ugly, and D, sacred.
D, sacred.
Bingo. You are correct. So Shastri House earns 5 points. Okay. The third question is for Tilak House, and the word for you is real. And the options are world, fish, hit, mistake. And sorry? Option A, correct. Again 5 points to Tilak House. Last question for round 1 and for our page, and the word is chimera, and the options are chimney, protest, illusion, or panache.
Illusion.
Bingo, again 5 points for our page. Okay. Let us move to the round 2 here. Okay, questions for audience. Class 12, Tilak House will answer this question, okay? And the word for you is sumptuous. Class 12, Tilak House. Anybody wants to answer? Options are Interhouse, class 12. Yes, Aditya. Sorry? Option C, I'm afraid to say it's wrong. Option D is correct. Thank you. Okay. Class 11. Class 11, Survey House. Second question is for you. Class 11. Word is stentorian. Stentorian, and the options are violent, misbegotten, loud, or stealthy. Survey House, class 11. Anybody? Loud. Sudhir has given the correct answer. Big round of applause for him. Okay, so here we finish round 1. Let us move to the round 2 of phase 1. This time, my first question will be from Shastri House. And your question is, the pulling sensation when we stand near a running train can be explained on the basis of, and the options are Archimedes' principle, Bernoulli's law, Avogadro's hypothesis, or Newton's third law of motion.
Option C.
Option C is wrong. Another attempt. Option D is again wrong. Last chance.
Option B.
Sorry?
Option B.
Option B is correct. 1 point. Next question will be for Interhouse, and your question is the force between charged particles is called as, and options are A. Nuclear force, B. Gravitational force, C. Centrifugal force, or D. Electromagnetic force. Option D is correct, 5 points. Let me remind the audience, if you will prompt, then that team will lose. I will directly award minus 5 points. If you will prompt, your team will lose. Let me be very clear about it. So audience, please maintain the decorum. Bingo, 5 points. Next question will be for RPH, and the question for you is, an orbital velocity of a satellite does not depend on which of the following, and the options are A. Radius of the planet, B. Mass of the planet, C. Radius of orbit, or D. Mass of the satellite, and options are RPH. Option D, bingo, 5 points. Last question for round 2 for Curve House, and the question for Curve House is, if a rock is brought from the surface of the moon to the earth, then the options are its mass will change. Option B, its weight will change but not the mass. Option C, it both mass and weight will change. Or option D, both mass and weight will not change or remain the same. Option B, are you sure? 5 points for the now 2 questions for audience. Again, I'll ask this question for class 12, Shastri House. The question is, a man is inside a moving train, tosses a coin, and the coin falls behind him. The train is moving, and the options are forward with a uniform speed, backward with a uniform speed, forward with acceleration, or forward with acceleration, and the option. And yes, very good, correct answer. Another question for class 11, Curve House. The question is, the atmosphere exerts enormous pressure on us, but we don't feel it because, and the options are, our blood exerts a pressure slightly more than that of atmosphere, we are used to it. Option C, our bones are very strong and can withstand the pressure, or the surface area of our head is very small. So, option A. Sure? You are right. Big round of applause. So here we have finished round 2. Still many questions are there in the phase 1. Round 3, chemistry. This time I will be starting with Interhouse. And your question on the screen is, sodium stearate is a salt and it is used for, and the options are A, to make fertilizer, option B, to make soap, option C, in paint. Please, no prompting.
Option B.
Option B, are you sure? Then 5 points goes to Interhouse. Next question for RPH. Be ready? The question is, the metal that is used as a catalyst in the hydrogenation of oil is, and the options are metal nickel, or lead, or copper, or platinum.
Nickel A.
Are you sure, Manish?
Yes, sir.
What do you think, audience? Correct or incorrect? Yes, 5 marks goes to RPH. Okay, question 3 for Curve House. Which one of the following is the cause of acid rains? And the options are, please keep silent, ammonia, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, or ozone?
Option B.
Option B, sulfur dioxide. Don't you think carbon monoxide would have been correct? No, sir. Then I agree with Curvey House, option B is correct. Then I agree with Curvey House, option B is correct. Sulfur dioxide is. Last question for round 3. Question is, one of the constituents of baking powder is sodium hydrogen carbonate. The other constituent is, and the options are acetic acid, option B sulfuric acid, option C tartaric acid, or option D hydrochloric acid. And
Option C.
option C tartaric acid. Have you used baking powder anywhere? Huh? Okay, so C is the answer given by Shastri House, and I am afraid to say it is right. They score 5 points. Now 2 questions for audience. This time I will be asking from class 10 because they must have studied this question. And the question is, class 10. The metallurgical process in which a metal is obtained in fused state is called as, and the options are smelting, roasting, calcination, or cross flotation. Last time, raise your hand. Yes. Option C, I am sorry to say wrong answer. Smelting is the correct answer. Who gave the answer? Okay, big round of applause for you. One more question for audience. Let us see who are able to crack it. Again, this question is very easy. I think so. Class 10th or 11th, anybody can give the answer. The question is, the most commonly used bleaching agent is, I guess you know in swimming pool we use bleaching agent, okay? So the most commonly used bleaching agent is option A alcohol, option B carbon dioxide, option C chlorine. Very easy question and very correct answer. Thank you. So here we have completed 3 rounds of phase 1, and I guess there is a stiff competition going on. All the teams are playing very well. Let us move to the last round. This time we will start with RPH, and your question is, the hanging structures in banyan tree are, and the options are, option A rhizomes, option B stems, option C roots, or option D branches. Think before you shoot the answer. Eagle, what's your answer? Come on, your root.
The root.
Root? What do you think, audience? Yes, you are right, Manish. 5 points. Okay, please, silence. Question 2 will be the Curvey House. Question 2 will be for Curvey House. And the question is, what is the nature of DNA? And the options are A acidic, option B basic, option C neutral, or option D alkaline. Option, can you tell me what is the full form of DNA?
Deoxyribonucleic acid.
Very good. So 5 points for Curvey House. DNA is the most important constituent which process of the information. Okay. Next question will be for Shastri House. Question is, uric acid is the chief nitrogenous waste in, and the options are frogs, birds, fishes, or mankind. Shastri House.
Option D, mankind.
I am sorry, wrong answer. Uric acid is the chief nitrogenous in.
Option A, from.
Again, I'm sorry, you have got the last chance.
Option C, fishes.
Wrong. 0 points. It's bird.
Atul sir, just a minute. What if there is a mistake in the slide? Who can find out? There is a mistake in the slide.
Which slide?
Yes, everybody. There is a mistake in the slide. Yes. Yes.
Fish or fisher?
Fish.
Plural form is
Fish, sir, fish.
fish, correct.
Okay, thank you, Sudhir sir, for correction of grammar. Okay, last question for Interhouse, and the question is among the given nutrients, milk is a poor source of which of the following? And options are carbohydrate, calcium, protein, or vitamin C.
Option D.
Option D, vitamin C. Are you sure? Have you read the question? Then you are correct. 5-1. Okay, this time I will be asking the question from class 11 biology. Question for audience, class 11 biology. Azolla enriches the rice fields with nitrogen due to its association with, and the options are A. Anabina, B. Nostoc, C. Rhizobium, or D. Frankia. Biology class 11 bio. Option C. Rhizobium. Wrong answer. B. Nostoc. Who said Nostoc? Do you think you are correct? No, Nostoc is wrong. Anabina is the correct answer. Thank you. Next question for class 6. I guess class 6 cadets can give the answer for next question. The question is, the lifespan of RBCs, that is red blood cells in human body is, and the options are 110 days, 120 days, 130 days, or 140 days. Class 6, yes. 120 days. What's your name, cadet? Big round of applause for Priyanka Kumari. So here we come to the end of our phase 1 of MCQs. Till we are compiling the scores, I hand over the mic and the screen to Sudhir sir, who will be showing some motivational videos. Audience are expected to maintain the decorum and silence. Thank you.
Hey Squeaks, what are you looking at? Oh, it looks like Squeaks noticed an interesting light moving across the night sky, and he's trying to figure out what it is. You know, I don't think that's a meteor, and I don't think it's an airplane either. It's moving very steadily in a straight line across the sky, and it's not twinkling or blinking. That means it's probably a satellite. A satellite is something that orbits or goes around a planet or star, and there are lots of different types. Some natural things are satellites, like the moon, because it goes around the Earth. But usually when people talk about satellites, they mean the ones that were made by people and launched into space. They're sort of like spaceships moving around the Earth, and they're usually made up of a computer along with solar panels to get power from the sun. Sometimes they also have cameras or other scientific tools to help them gather information. People sent our very first satellite into space in the year 1957. It was called Sputnik, and it was only about the size of a beach ball. These days, there are more than 2,000 satellites up there. know, it's hard to even imagine so many things moving around the planet at the same time, but they have all kinds of different jobs. Some satellites help us study the Earth. For example, they can take pictures or collect data about the Earth's surface. That way, scientists can learn more about things like the temperature of the oceans and see what's happening to the glaciers and other types of ice all over the world. Satellites can also monitor the weather, which meteorologists, the scientists who study weather, use to learn about big storms like hurricanes. But scientists aren't the only people who use satellites. Turns out that you and me and even Squeaks benefit from using satellites all the time. Whenever you use the map on a phone or in a car to go somewhere, it's using satellites in space to figure out where you are so it can tell you where to go. Some types of TVs and phones also use satellites because sometimes it can be easier to send information to faraway places on Earth if you use a satellite as the messenger. With satellite TV, for example, the signals from all the channels get sent to a satellite, which then sends the signals back down to lots of people's houses and their TVs. The biggest satellite orbiting our planet is the International Space Station. It's as big as a football or soccer field, and people actually live on it. There are usually 6 astronauts on the space station at a time, and most of them stay there for about 6 months. When they're floating around on the space station, they can do all kinds of cool science experiments that they couldn't do here on Earth. And Squeaks, I think that's what you saw moving across the sky, the International Space Station. You can usually see the space station on a clear night if it's flying over where you live not long after the sun goes down. It'll look like a little point of light moving in a steady straight line all the way across the sky with no blinking lights, which is exactly what Squeaks saw. I don't know about you, Squeaks, but I'm definitely going to be thinking about satellites the next time I watch TV or get a phone call. And we should keep a lookout for the space station the next time it goes zooming by. Thanks for joining us. If you want to keep learning and having fun with Squeaks and me, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time here at the Fort.
After multiple choice round, Curve House scored 18, LBSH 11, Tilak 20, and there is a tie between RPH and Tilak, RPH 20. Over to you, Simon Madam.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we are moving on to the second phase, the direct response phase. In this phase, the teams will go through 4 rounds. Round 1, geography round. Round 2 will be history. Round 3, civics. Round 4, GK and CA, that is current affairs. Each round consists of 4 questions. The team of the respective house will be asked a question from each round. For the direct question, the team gets the time of 10 seconds to answer. And for the correct answer within the time span of 10 seconds, the team will get a deposit of 5 points. Question can be passed on to the subsequent team if unanswered. In the event of passing the question on to the subsequent team, the team has to answer immediately or instantaneously. The team would get 3 bonus points if answered correctly. In case the subsequent team could not answer, the question would then be passed on to the next subsequent team. There will be an audience round, and last 2 questions in each round will be for the audience. All the 4 teams Have you understood the conduct of direct response phase round? Okay, all the best to you. Well then, all the best to the four formidable teams. Let's begin with the first round. Here is round one, geography. All the teams, hope you are ready. The first direct question is for the team of Karve House. Which state government is thinking of a possibility to develop an artificial inland port which can be connected to the sea through navigation channels? It's a wrong answer. The question is passed on to the subsequent team of Shastri House. Yeah, it is passed on to Tilak House.
Odisha,
Passed on to Rana Pratap House.
Andhra Pradesh,
Every team gets 0 points. No bonus point is awarded to any of the teams. Let me ask to the audience: is anyone? Sorry, it's a wrong answer. Everyone to maintain silence. Only one cadet can answer from the team, from the audience. It's a wrong answer. Okay, moving on to the second question of the round one. The correct answer for this question is Rajasthan. Maintain silence, each one of you in the auditorium. The state government is exploring ways to develop an artificial inland port in Jalore by bringing in Arabian Sea water into Rajasthan through Gujarat. If implemented, Rajasthan will become accessible by water, transport, and will be able to shake the tag of a landlocked state. It would be connected to the Arabian Sea by developing a channel along the Kutch Creek. Second question is for the team of Shastri House. I hope the team is ready. Which range forms the southern part of the sub-Himalayan zone?
Himachal,
You are wrong. The question is passed on to Tilak House.
Shivali,
Tilak.
Shivali Bay,
Yeah, absolutely right. And you get bonus 3 points. It is the sub-Himalayan range between the Tista and the Raigat rivers in Assam. The youngest mountain range is extended till Arunachal Pradesh. The next question is for Tilak House. It's your direct question, Tilak House. Which state of India has the largest coal reserve?
Odisha,
Absolutely wrong. Pass on to Rana Pratap.
Jharkhand,
Yeah, you are absolutely right. So you get bonus 3 points. The question for the next team of Rana Pratap House. It's your direct question, Rana Pratap. Are you ready? Which basin is also called Chhattisgarh Plain? Timekeeper, 10 seconds. Time up. Pass down to Karve House. Team of Karve House. Pass down to the next team of
Ganga
Shastri House.
Basin, Ganga Basin,
Wrong. You are wrong. It is passed on to Tilak's team.
Mahanadi Basin,
Yeah, you are right. Of Tilak House, and you get the bonus 3 points. Now, here's the question for the audience. Are you ready, audience? Before I ask the question, let me explain you. the question which was asked for the previous team. This basin is bounded by the Chota Nagpur Plateau to the north, the Raigarh Hills to the northeast, the Raipur Upland to the southeast, the Bastar Plateau to the south, and the Maikala Range to the west. Maikala. Okay, it is your turn, audience, and no one will prompt, and altogether no cadets will answer. It will be asked to particular class, and from them, I will point out to one of the cadets. Only he has to answer. Which is the largest solar park? Question to the audience. Which is the largest solar park in the world? Team of class 11th of Tilak House. Class 11th. Nobody knows it? Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry for you. Class 12 of Tilak House. Okay, none of the audience could answer it. Okay, here is the answer. Badla Solar Park. It's in Gujarat. Next question is also for the audience. Sagar Matha is another name of which of the mountain peak? I hope audience knows this answer. Yes, cadet, you can answer the first cadet. Yes, you. Yes, louder. Yes, you only. Yes, absolutely right. Give them a big round of applause. Here we come to an end of the round one. We move on to the next round, round 2. The direct question is for the team of Shastri House. Who introduced the policy of doctrine of class? Absolutely right. Shastri House and you get 5 full points. Next question is for the team of Tilak House. Who integrated 565, that is 565 princely states into India?
Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel.
Yes. This is the right answer, and the team of Tilak House gets total 5 points. Team of Rana Pratap, it's your turn now. The question for you is, where did the formation of Azad Hind Fauj take place?
Singapore.
Are you sure? Absolutely right answer, is it? No, I didn't say. Is it? Yes, it gets you 5 points. Now the fourth question of this round goes to Karve House, the team of Karve House. Who was bestowed with the title of Sahib Alam Bahadur? Thank you. You are incorrect. Pass on to the Shastri House, team of Shastri House. Pass on to Tilak. Yes, I did not get you. Tilakian, team of Tilak House.
Guru Govind Singh.
Pass on to Rana Pratap.
Bahadur Shah Zafar.
Absolutely wrong answer. Anybody from the audience can answer this question? Oh. That means you are not reading the books, you are not keeping yourself updated. Audience. The answer for this is Subedar Bakht Khan. Bahadur Shah too gave Subedar Bakht Khan the actual authority and the title of Saib Alam Bahadur or Lord Governor General. Khan was virtual commander of these sepoy forces. The next question is for the audience of this round. Question for the audience is, who made the famous statement, man is born free, but everywhere he is in chains? Class 12, Karve House. Okay, if none of the cadets want to answer, let me ask to class 8, Karve House. Anybody from class 8? Oh dear. So sorry to say, it's a wrong answer. The answer for this is Rousseau. Next question is also for the audience. Who led the Salt March in Madras Presidency? Class 12, Rana Pratap House. Anybody from class 6th and 7th? Yes. No dear, sorry. Another try? Absolutely right. Give a big round of applause. The cadet who answered is from 6th standard. Well done, cadet. We move on to the next round. Okay, before moving on to the next round, I would give an explanation for this. In 1930, Raja Gopalachari led the Vedariam salt satyagraha in response to the Dandi March. We move on to the round 3, civics round, and the question goes to the team of the House. The Bill of Rights and Judicial Review are features of which of the country constitution?
USA.
Yes, you are absolutely right, and you get full 5 points. The next question is for the team of Rana Pratap House. Here is your question. What is the maximum strength of state legislative assembly? Passed on to RPH, team of RPH Rana Pratap. Passed on to Karve. I'm sorry. Passed on to Shastri.
403.
Absolutely round answer from all the 4 teams, and it's passed on to Tilak.
552.
Incorrect. The answer is incorrect. It is 500. The next question is for the team of Karve House. No, it is for Karve House. It is correct. It is for Karve House. This question is for Karve House. Please do not prompt in between periods. Who establishes State Council. Passed on to the Shastri.
Dr. Rajesh Krishnan.
Passed on to Tilak House, team of Tilak House.
Vallabhbhai Patel.
Passed on to team of Rana Pratap.
Pass.
Mr. Wrong answer. Anybody from audience would you like to answer? Yes, correct. Any other try? Okay, yeah. Right answer is president. So all the teams lost their 5 points as well as the subsequent team bonus points. The last question, the fourth question, is for the team of Shastrios, and here is your question: to whom the Council of Ministers are collectively responsible?
Prime Minister.
Passed on to Tilak.
Prime Minister.
Passed on to Rana Pratap.
President.
What did you say?
President.
Yeah, it's wrong answer. Passed on to Karve. Yes, you are right, and you get here 3 bonus points. Karve, team of Karve House scored 3 bonus points. Here is the question for audience of this round. The makers of Constitution of India chose the theme of Federation of India as prevalent in which country? Class 10, Tilak House. Anybody from Tilak House, class 10? Any 7th class cadet? The answer for this question is United Kingdom. Next question for the audience is: who allots symbol to political parties? Yes, you can answer cadet. Absolutely right. It's the Election Commission of India, and the cadet Desai has answered. Display has answered correctly. We move on to the next round, that is the last round, round 4, general knowledge and current affairs. And here is the direct question for the team of Rana Pratap House. Question 1 for Rana Pratap is: the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations were flagged off from which venue?
Red Footman.
Passed on to the team of Karveal. Passed on to the team of Shastri.
Lal Killa, Red Fort.
Passed on to Tilak team. The team of Karve House scores 3 bonus points. They did not answer the direct question, but I would give them bonus points as they said Ahmedabad, and the answer is Sabarmati Ashram. The next question is for Karve House. Which state government has launched Bhukam Alert app? Sorry, sorry. It will be passed to Shastri, team of Shastri House.
Odisha.
Passed on to the team of Tilak House.
Uttarakhand.
Absolutely right, Kiran. Well done, Kiran. 3 bonus points here. The next question, question number 3, goes to Shastri House. India is developing a 30-second rapid testing kit for COVID-19 in collaboration with which country?
US.
Passed on to the team of Tilak House.
Japan.
Passed on to the team of Rana Pratap House.
Israel.
Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am.
I would give you 3 bonus points. Absolutely correct. The last question, that is 4th question, is for the team of Tilak House. Are you ready? Which country has the headquarters of World Chess Federation?
Switzerland.
Passed on to Rana Pratap.
Yeah. Russia.
Passed on to the team of Karve House. Passed on to the team of Shastri House.
Australia.
All the team answered incorrectly. Anybody from the audience? Yes,
India.
yes. Yes, Tibet. Yeah. Incorrect. Standard time answer. Incorrect. No, sorry. Yes, Tibet. All together, if you say, I won't be able to hear a single cadet. Atlanta, no, sorry. The answer is Greece. Okay, next question. The question is for the audience now. The Varun exercise is exercised between which 2 nations? Class 12. Absolutely right, correct. Give him a big round of applause. It is answered by Manish Kumar. Next question is also for the audience, and here is your question. Asia's oldest running newspaper, Mumbai Samachar, is a daily published in which language? Yes? No, dear. Yes, Shashank Pathari, you can answer. No, it's incorrect. Correct answer is Gujarati. Thank you, team members. You all have done well. Better luck next time. Just reach to the leading. Try to be closer to the leading team. Here, I would hand over the mic to Katare sir for the motivational video.
How is human flight possible? How do all those airplanes in the skies above us get there? And what keeps them up there? Let's take a few minutes to learn just how these interesting machines take flight. Understanding how airplanes fly requires us to familiarize ourselves with the forces that act on them as they slice through the air. There are 4 of these forces, 2 artificial ones designed to overcome 2 natural ones. These natural forces are the weight of the plane, or the force of gravity, and wind resistance, or drag. which is a form of friction exerted by different gaseous molecules in air. Surmounting these effects requires forces known as lift and thrust, each of which is delivered by a unique piece of technology found on any airplane. First, there's the heaviest, loudest, and perhaps the most familiar part of the flight experience, the engine. The airplane engine is an engineering marvel all its own. The engine that powered the famous 1903 Flyer, designed by the Wright brothers, featured a custom-built 12-horsepower gasoline engine. It was essentially a powered bike chain that drove twin propellers. Today's turbojet engines are a far cry from their predecessors, weighing up to 8,000 pounds and generating more than 30,000 horsepower. Both, however, accomplish the same job: to provide a force that thrusts airplanes forward on takeoff and once they're in the air. The sheer size and sound of today's jet engines might make it feel like they're doing all the work to get you and your fellow passengers off the ground. But that forward motion is only part of the flight equation. The upward force required to lift the plane into the air is provided by the plane's wings. Here's where the physics of flight gets a little tricky, if only because of a widely but slightly misunderstood conception of aerodynamics. Let's take a look at the cross-section of an airplane wing or airfoil in flight. You might have learned that the curved shape of an airfoil is what gives it the uncanny ability to float upward. Air first diverges at the front of the wing, part of it rolling over the curved section, and the rest along the straight edge. Because the distance between 2 points, in this case the front and back of the wing, is a straight line, air along the bottom tends to want to travel faster. So to catch up, air molecules above the wing have to travel even more quickly to meet up with the same air packet that diverged at the front of the wing. Fast-moving air above creates low pressure, while slower-moving air below creates higher pressure. So the overall effect is upward movement. The mechanism seems to make intuitive sense. The thing is, it's not quite right. There is no physical law that dictates that air molecules have to meet up after being carved apart by an airplane wing, but shape does play an integral part in flight. Air tends to want to move in a straight line. The curved portion of an airfoil, however, deflects air such as the same number of air molecules are smeared over a larger volume than those traveling along the bottom edge. This creates a pressure differential, low pressure above and high pressure below, and voila, that creates lift. If you need a little more convincing, try this exercise, or think back to the last time you might have tried it. Stick your arm out the window of a moving car and cup your hand. You will feel the physical consequences of adding that curvature with your fingers pressed tightly together. Try creating different curvatures, both positive and negative, and you'll understand how airplane wings also make descents toward the ground possible. These forces are enough to make flight by airplane possible, and while maneuvering in the air is vastly more complicated, it's simply a matter of forcing air to pass over the wings of a plane in different ways. The technologies that enable different movements include ailerons, elevators, rudders, spoilers, and air brakes. Some wing prototypes are even designed to morph organically, like the wings of a bird or insect, allowing for even finer control over flight mechanics. So the next time you're at the airport or hear the roar of a plane engine overhead, take a moment to appreciate all the interesting physics, both simple and complex, that makes human air travel a marvel of modern society.
Audience, any guess who is leading? Curve House? Curve 6 in direct response, LBSH 5, Tilak 19, RPH 11. Total score, Curve House 24, LBSH 16, Tilak 39, RPH 31. जागते रहो, कर्वे हाउस एंड LBSH जागते रहो. All the best, buck up. Over to you, Atul sir.
How's the Josh, Garrett? How's the Josh? Are you enjoying the quiz? What about participants? Okay, so before we start phase 3, let me spell out very clearly. In phase 3, there are only 2 rounds, audio and visual. Okay, and there will be negative marking. Before finishing the question, if you press the buzzer, then I will not finish the question. You have to give the answer. If you guess correctly, you will get +5. If you don't, you will be awarded -3 points. So this time, open up your brain, be ready. Okay? This round is open for all the 4 houses. Let me again spell out the rules. The rules are: it's audio visual puzzle round. There will be 2 rounds, one for audio, one for visual. All questions are open for all the teams. Each round consists of 4 questions. Correct answer will fetch you 5 points, but if you give incorrect answer, then you will be awarded -3 points. There will be no question for audience in this round, in this phase. And again, let me tell you, all the participants, let me finish the question first, then only you please press the buzzer. Otherwise, you will be awarded -3. Okay? So are you ready, participants? Shall we start? Okay, all the RPH. Okay, all the buzzers are working fine. Let us start for this one. This is the first audio. This is the first. Okay, the question is, Kesari Saffron is a 2019 Indian Hindi language war film based on the Battle of Saragarhi. That was a last stand battle fought before the Tira campaign between the British Raj and Afghan tribesmen. Can you name the lyricist of the song? Okay, Shastri House.
Parag.
Wrong answer, -3 points. Tilak House.
Johnny.
It will not be passed. Okay. Open to the audience. Audience, can you tell who is the lyricist of this song? Very good. Manoj Muntasher is the correct answer. Big round of applause. What's your name, Karen? Very good. So the next audio clip is, are you ready, participants? Okay. Listen carefully.
I'm not arrogant at all. I'm an introvert. I'm not an outgoing, gregarious type of person. Many people have mistaken my aloofness or my shyness for arrogance. That's the truth. You trust people easily. I used to. I was very naive and very vulnerable, very gullible. But now I know better. But still, my basic instinct is to trust and to fight it. Would you say you're a good judge of people? Now, yes. What does a person have to do to win your trust? They just have to be straightforward.
Okay, here's the question for you. J. Jayalalitha was an Indian politician, actress who served as Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. She was the General Secretary of the AIADMK Dravidian Party and whose cadre revered her as their Amma and Purachi Thalaivi. The latest movie has also come on her. Can you tell? Okay, let me finish the question first. Okay, answer.
Jayalalitha.
Jayalalitha, I have already told, -3 points. Okay, let me finish the question. For how many terms she was the CM of Tamil Nadu? The question is fast. Any answer from audience? For how many terms J. Jayalalitha was the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu? Sorry? I'm sorry, wrong. 6 terms is the correct answer. She was the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu for 14 years, over 6 terms between 1991 and 2016. Okay, so I will now again give a word of caution to the participants. Let me finish the question first and then press the buzzer. Otherwise, you will be earning -3. Third audio. Third audio. क्या कर रहे हैं सुनील सर? Okay, just click on the audio. That symbol. Okay, move to the audio 4, no problem.
मृत्यु
महासेना क्या है मृत्यु? हमारे आत्मबल से शत्रु का बल ज्यादा है, ये सोचता है मृत्यु। रणभूमि में शत्रु से भयभीत होकर जीवित रहना है मृत्यु। जिस नीच ने हमारी मां का अपमान किया वो हमारी आंखों के सामने अट्टहास कर रहा है। उसके सर मां के चरणों में अर्पित करने की जगह पीठ दिखाकर है मृत्यु।
This is for audience.
No problem.
उस मृत्यु को मारने जा रहा हूं मैं। मेरी मां और मातृभूमि को कोई नीच पापी छू नहीं सकता। उनकी छाती चीर कर उन सबको ये कहने जा रहा हूं मैं। मेरे साथ आएगा कौन? मेरे साथ आएगा कौन? उस मृत्यु को पार करके मेरे साथ अमर होगा कौन? जय माहिष्मते! जय माहिष्मते!
Okay, there was technical glitch, but I will still ask the question. Still listen carefully. Bahubali, the one with the strong arms, is an Indian media franchisee. The franchisee started off with a 2-part film series directed by Rajamouli. The films were filmed in both Telugu and Tamil languages simultaneously. The films were followed by an animated series, a graphic novel, and a trilogy of novels in English. As already you know who is the screenwriter of these 2 popular blockbuster movies, V. Vijayendra Prasad, I want to ask that in which year he was nominated to Rajya Sabha? In which year he was nominated to Rajya Sabha? It is a question on current affairs. In which year the screenwriter of this movie Bahubali was nominated to Rajya Sabha? 21 wrong answer. This is Karve House -3 points. The correct answer is 2022. Now only outgoing president, our R. Kovind, Mr. Kovind has nominated him to Rajya Sabha. Last month only he was nominated. Cadets, you should be updated with your current affairs knowledge. Okay, so there is a last question from audio round. And here is your audio.
Greta, your first climate strike was a lonely event a little over a year ago, and in the intervening time, you have sparked the interest of millions, literally, of children around the globe, demanding action for climate change. What's your message to world leaders today?
My message is that we'll be watching you. This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean.
Okay. So the fourth audio, Greta Tintin Eleonora Ehrman Thunberg is an environmental activist who is also known for challenging the world leaders to take immediate action for climate change mitigation. Cadets, teams, can you tell us about her nationality, from which country she is? Okay. Sweden. What do you think, audience? This time, have they scored positive or negative marks? Karve House. Positive marks, plus 5 points because she is studying. Good. Okay, so here we add audio round. Now we will have 4 visuals also. Visual round again. Let me frame the question. Late General Vipin Rawat, who had served as India's first CDS as well as the 27th Chief of Indian Army, was an outstanding professional and was in the midst of steering one of the most radical transformations of the Indian military. So, General Vipin Rawat's Memorial Chair of Excellence has been dedicated at which institution? Do you know? Again, let me ask the question. General Vipin Rawat's Memorial Chair of Excellence has been dedicated at which institution? No team wants to take the risk. Karve House has again pressed the buzzer. This time I am afraid that your answer is wrong. The answer is United Service Institution of India, USI. There, the General Vipin Rawat's Memorial Chair of Excellence has been dedicated. Minus 3 points, Karve House. Okay. Now we will go to visual 2. Audience, all of know what is on your screen, right? It has been a great news, latest news. Okay, let me ask the question. The Sarnath capital features 4 Asiatic lions standing back to back, symbolizing power, courage, confidence, and pride, mounted on a circular base. At the bottom is a horse and a bull, and at its center is a Dharma Chakra. The abacus is girded with a frieze of sculptures in high relief of the lion of the north, the horse of the west, the bull of the south, and dash of the east, separated by wheels over a lotus in full bloom. Can you tell the name of the animal dash of the east? Which animal? 4 animals are there. 2 you can see, horse, bull. 2 are behind that. 1 is lion. What is the 4th one? Okay, RPH.
Elephant.
Correct. Plus 5. It's the elephant. Okay, visual 3. Okay, cadet, what is this? Taj Mahal? Bibi ka Maqbara? How many of you are with Taj Mahal? Okay, let me frame the question. The Bibi ka Maqbara, tomb of the lady, is a tomb located in Aurangabad, Maharashtra, commissioned in 1660 in the memory of Dilras Banu Begum. Tell us, whose wife was she? Dilras Banu Begum was wife of whose? RPH has buzzed first and Aurangzeb is the correct answer. The Mughal Emperor. RPH are racing ahead. Still, one question is left. Other teams, fasten up your belt. Last question. Jallianwala Bagh is a historic garden and memorial of national importance, close to the Golden Temple complex in Amritsar, Punjab, preserved in the memory of those wounded and killed in the Jallianwala Bagh massacre that occurred on the site on the festival of Baisakhi, 13th April 1919. People had gathered there to protest against an act that was enforced in India to limit civil liberties. Can you name the act? Again, RPH has pressed the button. Rowlatt Act. What do you think, audience? Is it Rowlatt Act? Yes, it is. 4 to 5 points again to RPH. They pressed the button first. I'm seeing both of you. After him, you press the button. First, it was pressed by RPH, and as Patil ma'am has already told, the quiz master will decide what is correct. Okay? Okay, so here we finish the audio visual phase. And now, I again hand over to Sudhir sir for some motivational videos.
There's one that's powered by the engine. It moves the entire track along. The other wheels spin freely as the tank treads move past it. The road wheels also have suspension built into them. The whole reason we use caterpillar tracks is to allow the tank to go over some very rough terrain. Most barriers don't pose any problem for the tank to pass. Regular vehicles with 4 wheels have limited surface area in contact with the ground. They can get stuck much easier. That's why it's a good idea to stay on paved roads. The tank, on the other hand, has a much larger surface area to displace all of that weight. Obstacles in the way are usually not a problem. The tank can even climb some very steep hills. Most of the time, it's still a smooth ride for those inside the tank. The tank is steered by altering the speed of the tracks. For example, to turn left, the right tracks need to move faster than the left tracks. Unfortunately, the caterpillar tracks are the most likely part of the tank to break. The good news is that the tank usually carries tools and spare parts so that broken links can be replaced and the tank can keep moving again. Next up is the engine, which is in the very back of the tank. For repairs, the entire engine can be lifted up out of the tank. This is an AGT 1500 engine, which can run off of several different fuels, but most of the time it runs off of jet fuel. In your car, you'll find what's called a piston engine, with these pistons moving up and down to rotate the shaft. But in the tank, you'll find a turbine engine. This one works a little bit more like a jet engine that you would find on an airplane. However, this engine is actually fairly quiet, which is really important so you don't give away the tank's position to nearby enemies. The engine gets very at the back, so make sure and stay clear when the engine is on. There's actually a phone on the back of the tank. This way, soldiers on the outside can communicate with the crew on the inside.
This particular round, buzzer round, Curve House scored -1, LBSH -6, Tilak 0, RPH 15. So the topper in this round is RPH with 46 marks. Congratulations. Over to you, Patna.
Thank you, sir. And once again, welcome to you all. We are moving to rapid fire round. And you all know the score. The score sheet shows that RPH is leading, followed by Civics House, Curve House, and Shastri House. Cadets, cross your fingers now, throw your tension, and lead yourself for win as we are entering into this last phase of today's quiz competition. In this phase, we have a set of 10 questions. To answer these 10 questions, maximum of 90 seconds will be given to each team. If time permits, unanswered questions will be repeated. And at the end of 90th second, a bell will ring. That will be an end of rapid fire round for that particular team. For each correct answer, the team will get 2 points. Timekeeper, please be alert. And we start with Curve House. Curve House, are you ready? All the best to you. And your time starts now. Name the tallest building in the world. Name the tallest building in the world.
Burj Khalifa.
Right. Who is Central Cabinet Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare?
Dharmendra Pradhan.
Wrong. Who said, सरफरोशी की तमन्ना अब हमारे दिल में है?
Ram Prasad Gupta.
Right. Name the element that is common to all acids.
Hydrogen.
Correct. The Rath Yatra at Puri is celebrated in honor of which Hindu deity?
Shiva.
Wrong. After how many years FIFA World Cup is held?
4.
Right. Who invented rotary steam engine?
James Bond.
Right. Name the author of the Blue Umbrella. What is the full form of WLL in terms of computer? Make it fast. Spell the word rapport. Spell the word rapport. Rapport. Okay. Your time is over. And team of Curve House has answered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions correctly. I'll just answer the questions which have not been answered correctly. Who is the Central Cabinet Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare? It's Sri Narendra Singh Tomar. The next question, that is Rath Yatra at Puri is celebrated in honor of Lord Jagannath. Then the question which they couldn't answer, they just said pass. Name the author of Blue Umbrella. Yes? Yeah, very good. Even man's son also answered it correctly, and the cadet also answered correctly. Give him a big round of applause. Full form of WLL, that was also not given correctly. It is wireless local loop. And the spelling of rapport, it is R-A-P-P-O-R-T. The pronunciation is rapport. So you get confused. And I want all those who are preparing for UPSC examination, please pay attention to spelling part. The meaning of rapport is a close harmonious relationship in which people or groups concerned understand each other's feelings or ideas and communicate well. Okay, now we move on to Shastri House. Shastri House, are you ready? Shastrians. Okay, timekeeper, be ready. And your time starts now. Which is the smallest country in the world?
Vatican City.
Right. Who is the Central Cabinet Minister of Commerce and Industries?
Pass.
Who said Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan?
Lal Bahadur Shastri.
Wrong. What is laughing gas?
Nitrogen oxide.
Correct. Who composed the famous song Sare Jahan Se Acha?
Pass.
Who is given the nickname God of Cricket?
Sachin Tendulkar.
Correct. Who invented electric generator?
Pass.
Name the author of Gone with the Wind.
Pass.
What is the full form of URL?
Pass.
Spell the word maintenance.
M-A-I-N-T-A-N-A-N-C-E.
Wrong. The questions which you couldn't answer. Who composed the famous song? You can try. Sare Jahan Se Acha. Then who invented electric generator? Michael Faraday. Is the correct answer. You couldn't answer it. And name the author of Gone with the Wind. Time up. Team of Shastri House has answered only 3 questions correctly. The spelling of maintenance, M-A-I-N-T-E-N-A-N-C-E. It is not T-A-N-C-E. Okay, you must be knowing the meaning of maintenance. It is process of preserving a condition or situation or state of being preserved. Well, we move on to next team, that is Civics House. Timekeeper. Civics House, your time starts now. Name the longest river in the world. Right. Who is the General Cabinet Minister of Rural Development? Who declared that his ultimate aim was to wipe every tear from every eye? Non-stick cooking utensils are coated with what? Kathakali is a folk dance prevalent in which state?
Andhra Pradesh.
Wrong. Where is the famous boxer Mary Kom from?
Manipur.
Right. Who invented gunpowder?
Pass.
Name the author of The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari.
Rohit Sharma.
Correct. Tell the full form of ISP in terms of internet. Spell the word minuscule. Okay, you can try again since time is there. Who is the General Cabinet Minister of Rural Development? Wrong. Who declared that his ultimate aim was to wipe every tear from every eye? Wrong. Non-stick cooking utensils are coated with?
Toffee.
Teflon is correct answer. And your time is over. Civics House has answered 1, 2, 3 and 4 questions correctly. Okay. Audience, listen carefully. Don't get excited. Okay, the questions which were not answered. Who is the Central Cabinet Minister of Rural Development? It is Mr. Giriraj Singh. Who declared that his ultimate aim was to wipe every tear from every eye? Can you answer this question, audience? Okay, it is Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Kathakali. Yes, it's Kerala, right? Very good. Ma'am Khan also knows many answers. Next question, who invented gunpowder? Yes, audience? It is Roger Bacon. The full form of ISP in terms of internet. Right, you get full point, internet service provider. And the spelling of minuscule is M-I-N-U-S-C-U-L-E, which means extremely small or tiny. Now we move on to Rana Pratap House. All the best to you. Thank you for the ready. Rana Pratap House, your time starts now. Which is the world's longest railway platform?
Gorakhpur.
Right. Who is the Central Cabinet Minister of Women and Child Development?
Irani.
Correct. Who said, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high?
Pass.
From which mineral is radium obtained?
Pass.
Okay, in which year the national anthem was sung first?
1949 man.
Sorry,
1950 man. 1950.
wrong. Who is the first Indian badminton player to win an Olympic medal?
Prakash Padukan.
Wrong. Who invented bifocal lens?
Pass man.
Name the author of the book War and Peace. War and Peace. Wrong. What is the full form of KPO?
Pass.
Now spell the word bureaucracy. Bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy.
Please repeat.
Buerau.
Sorry, wrong.
Pass man.
Okay, still time is there and we can try. Who said where the mind is without fear and head is held high? Okay, time up. Audience, can you tell? I think on Monday, you say this prayer. Okay? So you should be knowing it. And the answer is audience, some of you could give the answer. That's really nice. Well done. From which mineral is radium obtained? It is pitch blende. Well, in which year the national anthem was sung? It was 1911. Then the next question, who is the first Indian badminton player to win an Olympic medal? It is Saina Nehwal. And the author of the book War and Peace? You are right, very good. Well done. And KPO, full form of KPO. Well, it is knowledge process outsourcing. And the spelling of bureaucracy, which was again given incorrect, that is B-U-R. It is B-U-R-E-A-U-C-R-A-C-Y. Tilak Rana Pratap House answered only 2 questions correctly. Okay, with this, we come to an end of rapid fire round. We'll be back. Till then, please watch a video. We'll be back with the final score sheet. Over to you, Sudhir.
The sides have armored plates called side skirts to protect the wheels and the caterpillar tracks. These can be opened up in sections to stay clear when the engine is on. There's actually a phone on the back of the tank. This way, soldiers on the outside can communicate with the crew on the inside. The sides have armored plates called side skirts to protect the wheels and the caterpillar tracks. These can be opened up in sections for better access to the road wheels. On the front, there's headlights here and 4 tow hooks down here. Remember, there are many different variants of the M1A2 Abrams tank, so another tank might have slightly different features on the outside. This top part is called the turret. It can rotate all the way around in about 9 seconds. This is the main gun, which is a 120mm smooth bore cannon. This means that the shells or ammunition are 120mm, and so is the bore, or the hole, that it goes through. The shells leave the barrel at about 3,500 miles per hour. It can hit a target 2 miles away. Automatic stabilizers allow the gun to stay locked on targets even while going over rough terrain. This way, the driver doesn't have to stop every time the tank needs to fire. The tank can even spin in place while the main gun remains locked on target. Right next to this is the smaller coaxial machine gun. Up on top, there's usually at least 1 more machine gun to operate. On the sides are smoke grenade launchers. There's one on each side of the tank. These make it harder to be seen during combat. There's not much room for equipment inside of the tank, so oftentimes the crew will put it out here on the bustle rack. There are two hatches on top of the turret, the commander's hatch and the loader's hatch. Inside of the turret, you'll find 3 out of the 4 crew members. It's a bit cozy in here. The gunner sits down below to the very right. The commander sits directly behind the gunner. The loader is off to the left of the main gun. When the turret rotates, all 3 of these crew members rotate with it. Underneath here, this is called the turret basket. The seal between the turret and the hull is so good that it can protect the crew inside in case of chemical or nuclear warfare. A few more things I want to show you about this tank. The commander can see 360 degrees around the tank through the viewing ports. The shells for the main gun are stored in a large compartment on the back of the turret. The loader can then open up an access door, grab a shell, and load the main gun. This must be done quickly during combat situations. If any of the ammunition is ignited, the panels on top are rigged to blow off so that the explosion goes up instead of into the turret where the crew is located. The driver sits up at the very front. There's a hatch up here that can be opened to go inside. There's not much room up here either, so the driver has to lay back in the seat. The controls are up here, and 2 brake pedals down here. There's no gas pedal in the tank, just use the 2 black handlebars for acceleration and steering. The driver also has periscopes that allow him to see a 120-degree field of view. Usually the driver enters through the hatch up front, but if needed, the driver can climb into the turret and then through a tiny door in the basket and into the seat. The United States isn't the only ones to use the M1 Abrams tanks. It's been sold to other countries such as Australia, Egypt, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. The M1A2 Abrams tank has been in use for almost 30 years now. At some point, it may be replaced, but for now, it continues to be the main battle tank for the United States military. My name's Jared, and I create 3D animations on how things work. Visit my YouTube channel for lots more animations just like this one. Go ahead and click on the link here, or click below to watch another video. And thanks again to War Thunder. Download the game for free. Just use my link in the video description below.
Hello.
For today's video, we're going.
Dear all, result of quiz 2022-23 is an open secret. Without taking much of your time, I request Simon Madam, please take the charge.
Good evening, one and all present here. We all have witnessed the Interhouse quiz competition 22-23. After a long years of break, the quiz questions put forth to the team were intriguing and exciting and made the audience happy when the team answered correctly. Here the audience too got the chance to participate in the quiz round. Quiz competitions are interesting and informative with a lot of excitement. It makes the cadets aware about the current affairs. Every round has a mixed bag of questions and the result is already known to the audience. Without taking much of your time, cadets, I am here to conduct the prize distribution ceremony. And to do the honors, may I now request the chief guest of today's competition, Vice Principal Lieutenant Colonel Manisha Dabas, to kindly come to the stage. Ma'am, please. To start with the third position, Karve House is secured the third position. I would call the team members to collect the medal and certificate. Cadet Anujesh Kumar of Karve House. Cadet Avinash Singh. Cadet Shriyas Ragmani. Cadet Dhananjay Kanse. Second position goes to the team of Civics House, and first to come is Cadet Bhanu Kumar to collect the medal and certificate. Cadet Sagar Deshmukh. Cadet Ashwin Gangwar. Cadet Arjun Borse. And the first position is bagged by the team of Rana Pratap House. Team members come and collect the certificate. Cadet Manish Kumar. Cadet Yash Rajput. Now the certificates to the participants of the Shastri House. Team members to come, own Gaikwad. Cadet Abhay Pratap. Cadet Parmeshwar Shelke. And Cadet Anurag Yadav. Now the presentation of the trophy. The winner of the Interhouse Quiz Competition 2022-23 is the team of Rana Pratap House and the complete house, that is Rana Pratap. House captain to come to collect the trophy. House master also is invited to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. Respected Mr. Devi, Senior Master, all teachers, and my dear cadets. First of all, I would like to compliment and congratulate our quiz team, headed by Mrs. Patel. Very well conducted quiz. All the questions were well selected, and see, none of the question was leaked. You can very well make out Mrs. Patel's house. I was the quiz master, so not even a single question was leaked out by the team. Very well done. Excellent show by the quiz team. Now, I would like to congratulate all the participants present on the stage who took this initiative and who are the representative of their houses. Cadets, it takes a lot of courage to be on the stage, to take initiative and to represent your house. So winning and losing are two different aspects. It's always a platform to express yourself. So whenever you get an opportunity, please grab this opportunity. Have you read this poem, All the Words Are Stage? If you not, this is a question for you all. Read this poem, All the Words Are Stage. Alright, just find it out. See the summary. So my compliments to Rana Pratap House standing first. Tilak House was known as. At times, it's a matter of luck. So is with the Shastri and Karve House. No cadet present on the stage is less in any way. That's what I take it and that's what I feel. Sometimes your presence of mind, sometimes the kind of question fall in your lap, that depends. But my one observation over here is, and my recommendation to each one of you, I've always been insisting on reading habits. You've been given newspapers in your houses. Almost 20 to 40 newspapers in each house are supplied every day. Magazines are being given, but they are just not even 10% cadets are utilizing them. Believe in me, whenever you have your rest time, please pick up the newspapers, read them. Preparing for GK or current affairs is not an overnight affair. Once you read constantly, then you will be able to come up to some level. The cadets who have been, answering the questions, you think that they're just prepared in last 2 nights? No. It's their constant efforts that they'll be reading some newspapers or the magazines or some other current affairs books. And I'd just like to bring out that more you read, more ideas you'll have in your mind, more you will be able to express yourself, more vocabulary you have. If you don't read, ideas will not come to your mind. You'll not be able to express yourself. More you read, more you will be able to speak, more you will be able to express yourself. And more you are able to speak and express yourself, more you will be able to pen it down on a piece of paper. More you will be able to write. So it's a vicious circle. And this circle starts with your reading habits. So those who have not yet started with this reading habits, this is the right time, this is the right platform, schooling, especially from the class 6. So please get onto it and start with your reading habits. You must have seen, we had the rounds of the, books and authors. Had you been reading books, you would have answered all the questions. Very common books were asked. That's why I, insist on reading those fiction, non-fiction, at least one book in a month. Once you read a book in a month, you'll be able to read 12 books in a year. And imagine by the time you pass out from school, you getting my point I'm trying to say? So these things, then you don't have to put in some special effort. You don't have to mug it up. If it is in your blood, if it is in your habit, things will fall automatically. So my compliments to all the participants and congratulations to the winning team, the tutors, the housemaster who've been guiding and assisting them. Very well done and excellent show. And thank you, cadets, for maintaining the decorum. This is what is expected out of you. And do get this habit of reading newspapers, please. Let me see next time when I come to the house. Let me see how many of you read the newspaper of that day. I generally visit after dinner. So I'll ask any cadet which newspaper he has read and what all news he has been, reading or which news he has read throughout the day. Will you do that? Yes, ma'am. No, morale is very low. Doesn't look like. Will you all read newspapers? Yes, ma'am. That's better. And especially my class 11th and 12th. 11th, you have these 2 crucial years. SSB preparation is not a day matter. If you start now, if you read newspapers, if you read editorial from the very beginning, it's going to be a cakewalk for you. So it's your choice. Rather, I don't leave it a choice with you. You have to do it. Not only 11th, rather each one of you to read the newspapers, and henceforth, I'll ask any cadet about his reading this habit of newspapers or the magazines. Will you do it? Yes, ma'am. Look at your morale. Will you do it? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, thank you very much. Jai Hind. Thank you, ma'am. I'll not take much of your time. I know you all are hungry. I'll just propose a vote of thanks. On behalf of organizing committee for today's program, I express my deep sense of gratitude to our chief guest, Lieutenant Colonel Manisha Dabas, for sparing her valuable time from her busy schedule to this occasion. We are very thankful to you, ma'am, for giving away the prizes and sharing your thoughts, inspiring our cadets to develop reading habits. And I know this will surely be a guiding force to every one of them. I'm immensely thankful to our senior master for this kind support and guidance. I'm thankful to Ms. Sangeeta Guru and Manoj Kumar sir for compiling this result. I thank all the teachers for their benign presence. I also extend my sincere gratitude to our energetic team of quiz competition for being very proactive and dedicated while making and conducting this program. I would also like to thank our participants, okay, for making the event joyful with their impressive performance. Your days of hard work were evident in your act. I will be failing in my duty if I don't thank QM section and especially electrician Sanke and Sagar. They really provided all the help that was required. They worked behind the scene to make all the necessary arrangements. And I thank you all, cadets sitting there, for maintaining the silence and also taking part enthusiastically whenever you had questions for audience. Thank you so much. Once again, I thank one and all for making this program a grand success. And with this, I declare today's program over. Good evening, Shia.